Hey friends, welcome to Made with Love. My name is Treasure and I am so excited to get creating with you today. We have a lot of fun plans. So we are going to use a bunch of wood today. I got a 4x4, I have like a 1 by, I don't know, 10, 12, something like that. I have some trim. I have a wood bowl that we're going to do something really fun and creative with. I have this cutie little reindeer hanging off my hand and a tree right next to him. We're gonna use our awesome DIY paint because you know how much I love that. And then over here I have some gold leafing. We haven't done that together yet. I'm actually kind of new at that, so we'll explore that together. I have a really cool transfer from the new release from IOD. And then I also thought it would be fun to play with the Cloche Mould. I haven't done that yet, so we're gonna do that together. We're doing it all around Connie's beautiful rice paper. And actually it's super fun because I'm in a collab today. So after you get done watching me, you could go check out my other friends too. So let me introduce you really quick. Let's get started. Today I'm in a collab with Heather, Kristen, Leanne, and Tara, and we're all using Connie's Lines and Designs paper. Let's get started. So for project number 1, we're gonna make a riser to go with this cloche. I had this old wood bowl that I hadn't been doing anything with, and so I cut a square and then a circle, and I'm just going to glue them all together with Titebond. Sometimes we just have to get creative, and when we don't have what we want, we've got to kind of look at what we do have and see how we can make it work. In this case, that's what I did. I just started stacking things together. And I will be honest, at first it looked a little odd, but then I thought, okay, once I get them stacked together, glued together, and then painted them, I figured they would, in the end, come together. And so let's see if that happened. So here we're just gonna get them all together and then give them a good dry. Now once that glue is nice and dry, I get my fast drying wall putty out and I just go along all the seams and fill them in really good. And as I'm going along, I'm just going to make sure that I smooth that out. To be honest with you, I do kind of want like an old chunky look to it, so I'm not super concerned about it being smooth, but I also don't want it to look like somebody was just really messy and finger painting. So I got that on there and then let it dry, and then I'm going to go ahead and do one quick coat with Prairie Gray. This is going to be my underneath coat so that when I paint white on top of it, I can distress back and you'll see this beautiful dark color. So once I get the Prairie Gray done, I did do a clear coat of liquid patina on that so that when I distress back, I wouldn't go through the Prairie Gray as well. And then I'm just giving this little guy a couple of coats of the Prairie Gray as well. We're going to do something with him later on with the cloche. He'll be one of the little guys that we put in there. And now after that liquid patina was dry, I'm just going ahead with a coat over it of White Swan. And once that is on and dry, I'm just going to distress back, and here you can see what I was talking about. That Prairie Gray is starting to come through. And so I'm just going to go around and give it a good distressing. And then once I get it the way I want it, I will just take some clear wax and go ahead and clear wax over it. And there you have it. I don't know, would you be able to look at this and tell that it used to be 3 different pieces and that it's an upside down bowl, or would you just think it was always like that? I was pretty excited about this one. So for project number 2, we actually have the star of the show. As I had mentioned before, the theme of our collab is that we're all inspired by Connie's beautiful rice paper. And so my biggest inspiration was this beautiful scene called Snowy Night. I just love how that old church house is set out in that snowy background, and I love that Connie hand paints her rice paper. And she uses DIY paint, which is my favorite paint, and so it's so easy to match colors up to it and work with it. I really enjoy it. So here I'm just going ahead and painting the background white so that it helps that rice paper pop. And then I'm taking my favorite decoupage medium, which is Liquid Patina by DIY. I'm spraying the back of that rice paper to get those fibers to expand so that the paper adheres nicely with no wrinkles. I really rarely have problems with wrinkles when I use this method. So I just started my starter strip and now I'm just getting the rest of that down. I just use my hand. I know some people put their hand in, like my friend Leanne, I've heard her say she uses a plastic baggie, and that's really wise. I really should do that, but here I am, just using my hands, and then once I get it all flattened out, I go ahead and give it one good coat of liquid patina over the top. I thought it'd be fun to play with some gold leafing for the vignette today, and here I'm using a little bit of that tacky glue that comes with the gold leafing. You just dab it on or brush it on, and then you let it dry for 30 to 60 minutes. Once it's dry, it's still tacky, and then you could go ahead and apply the gold leafing on top. And you'll see in a minute, once you start putting it on, it just grabs on. And so here I am just continuing and placing those little gold leaves all over. I am purposely trying to leave some of that prairie gray showing. At the end, I want it to kind of just look like an old distressed frame. So I'm just going to continue applying it. Alright, once I get all of my gold leafing applied and smoothed out, I'm just going to take some Titebond and place it on the back of this molding. I'll smooth it out with my finger, and then I'll just place it around the picture and get it nice and square and give it a few minutes to set up. Once the glue has had a chance to set, I'm just going back and giving that frame one good coat of the liquid patina, and we are done. So project number 3 was very simple, but also maybe one of my favorite projects. I just took an old 4x4 and had cut the shape out at the top to give it a roof line, and then gave it one coat of prairie gray. And now here I'm coming back in with that white, letting it dry. That's White Swan. Letting it dry and then distressing it back to give it an aged appearance. So I wanted to use the Gilded Tinsel Transfer on this cutie little house, so I'm just giving it one good coat of liquid patina to seal up my DIY paint. And then before I do that transfer, I'm going to go ahead and apply the glue that goes with the gold leafing on the roof line. And then once that dries, we'll go ahead and apply some gold leafing to that roof. Okay guys, here is the hardest part of the whole project, and I'm not talking about using these gold transfers because they're actually fairly easy to use. It's the decision. There are so many beautiful choices. So as you can see, I had to call Tony, the tool guy, the tech guy, the guy that today is actually his birthday, so wish him a happy birthday in the comments for me. But he had to come in and help me make the choice, and together we figured it out. So as I'm working on my placement, I'm realizing that these little leaves on the edge are just gonna kind of go to waste. I didn't really want it to wrap around for this project, but I didn't want to waste them, and so I cut those little leaves out, and I'm just gonna place them up top. And then you can also notice we had chosen Peace on Earth. However, it was too long to go across my little house, so we just cut it into 2 lines. And I'm a big advocate for that. Don't feel like you have to use your transfers exactly how they are. They're meant to be creative, and so cut them up and move them around. So when you're using these gold transfers, the one tip that I was given is just try to rub lightly and lift as you are rubbing. Don't over rub them. Don't overwork them because you'll start to chip the gold off. And then once you're done, use the waxy backing that you had peeled off in the first place to go back and burnish. And just do it lightly, like everything is just being just a little more gentle than you normally are, but they are actually pretty easy to work with. So after I get everything applied here, I realized I needed some more transfers on the bottom, so I went back into that book, picked another little set of flowers for the bottom, and then added that down below. And I just think this little house turned out so cute. What do you guys think? Okay, and then the final step for this little project is just to take some liquid patina and give it all one good coat to protect those transfers. And then this cutie little house is done and ready to be added to the vignette. I just think it goes so sweet with that beautiful rice paper that Connie created. For project number 4, we're going to add another little picture to our vignette with this beautiful paper called Frozen Pond. This is some more of Connie's artwork. And I don't know if I had mentioned this before, but I am actually a stockist for Connie. I am in process of getting my website up and running. It might even be up for this video. If it is, I will put a link in the description in case you want to buy some of this paper yourself. If I don't get my website up in time, then I will put a link to Connie's website so you could go support her. You can also purchase this in my booth if you are local. I have a booth in Outwater, California, and it's called Antique Armoire, the store that I'm in. It's a beautiful little store, and I sell this paper in my booth, so go check it out. Alright, so you saw me putting the prairie gray on the back and then the white swan on the front. And now I'm just going to pick which part of the scene that I want for my picture and cut it out. And then I will grab my liquid patina and go ahead with my starter strip. And then spray the back of that rice paper so the fibers expand. And here we go. We are halfway done. One thing that I want to point out here is after I got my paper down, you'll notice in a minute that I realized I had gone over too far. So you could see the white strip on this side, which I was not okay with. But the very cool thing about rice paper is it's pretty tough. So look at this, guys. I don't know how many decoupage papers you can do that with, but I just pulled it right back off. I did go ahead and apply more liquid patina just to make sure it would adhere nicely. I repositioned it and then pushed it right back down, and it was perfectly fine. Once my project was dry, I just got my little finger sander and in a downward motion went ahead and sanded off the edges of that paper. Once I got that all taken care of, I grabbed some of my painter's tape and I taped off a little edge here. I am going to apply some of that gold leaf glue, and we are going to frame this beautiful paper out with some of that gold leafing. Now once I got all my glue on, while the glue was still wet, I went ahead and removed my painter's tape so that it wouldn't get stuck on there. And then once my glue was dry and still tacky, I went back in and I applied my gold leafing. Okay guys, project number 5 was inspired by Connie's paper Little White Church. How cute are these little churches? So here's my chance to play with the cloche. I just thought these were the perfect marriage. Okay, I have a question. What camp are you? Are you in the quick set resin? It's okay that it dries white. I'm gonna decoupage right over it and it's gonna be a beautiful project. Or are you in the, hey, I have patience and I think that glass, that clear glass look is beautiful and I'm in it for that. Which one are you? I'm gonna be honest, I'm a quick set girl. So I do have a sweet friend, Deanna, that casted this cloche in the clear resin and she gifted that clear one to me. So I have yet to try the clear resin, but leave a comment. Do you want me to do a video with the clear resin and some projects? If you do, I will. But here I thought it would be fun to kind of give a contrast of what the two projects would look like. So here I'm just taking my quick set cloche that dried white and I'm going right over the cloche with my decoupage paper. And then this is that clear one, spreading my liquid patina on the back of it, and then I'm going to adhere the church to the back of this one, and that liquid patina will dry clear. You'll never even know it was there. So we're just going to set these off to the side and let them dry. Once that decoupage paper is nice and dry, I'm just taking my little finger sander and in a downward motion, going very gently around the casting and sanding off those edges. Where there is detail, I'm just taking my time and very gently sanding into those details, and the paper comes off absolutely no problem. And here we're going to come in with some more of that glue for the gold leafing, and we're just going to apply it to the metal parts of these cloches. So on this cloche we're going straight over the white, and then on the second cloche we're going to be putting that gold leafing over the prairie gray color, so in the end we can see the difference, if it even matters what's underneath that gold leafing or not. What do you think? Once I get all that gold leafing on, I am just giving the cloche that I did the decoupage paper on top one more overall coverage of the DIY liquid patina, and then the cloche that has the clear glass look on the front, I'm just carefully going over just the gold leafing with the liquid patina. And then once that dried, I took out my roll of felt, and I am going to trace along the shape of the cloche to get a piece of felt that will fit perfectly on the back of this little ornament, because I want to put a hanger and I also want the back to look nice and finished. I want to be able to hang this on a Christmas tree, and I also thought the felt would give that resin a little more strength. I mean, resin is super strong, but I'm guessing that, you know, if it's an ornament, there's a chance it could fall off a tree. So I thought it might be good to just give it that extra strength on the back. So I'm just gonna cut it out the shape of the cloche and then use my Titebond, spread it all over the back of those cloches. And then I definitely got too much, but that's okay because I can use it on the second cloche there. But then you can see the cording sitting off to the side. So before I put my felt on, I'm just gonna sandwich that cording right in between the cloche and the felt so that we have something to hang these sweet little ornaments with. Guys, I was so inspired by Connie's paper that we have 6 projects today. So our final project is some cutie little bookmarks. These would be really cute to give to a friend with a Christmas card, or even just have for yourself. So I'm using White Swan to give it one good coat. And then we're going to take this music sheet and divide it in 2. And we're going to use that for the background of both of our little bookmarks. And of course, we've got our liquid patina out, and we're going to go ahead and use our liquid patina to adhere our music paper to our bookmark. Alright, and once we get our music paper on, we're going to go ahead and cut out our little churches using the wet cut. Now, when you do it this way, you get a more natural, organic edge because you can kind of see those paper fibers as you tear. And so it just kind of it helps it blend in with its background more. If you wanted to, you could kind of fussy cut around the little church, but I really liked how this turned out. So I just cut my little church out, and then I'm going to use my DIY liquid patina and give it a little spray and go ahead and place that beautiful little church on to my bookmark. Now that everything's dry, I'm using my little finger sander, and in a downward motion, we are just sanding the edges of that paper to get that beautiful, nice, clean edge. And here I'm just using a skewer to pop out that teeny tiny little hole that is on these bookmarks. I was thinking when I was trying to get my ribbon through here that next time I'm gonna drill those holes out a little bigger, because these were just blanks that I bought on Amazon, and oh my goodness, the hole was so teeny. So before I finish up, I wanted to do a little bit of that gold leafing on the edges of my bookmarks, and as you can see here, I had put out way too much glue, so I'm just trying to save my glue here, putting most of it back in the bottle. And then I'm just going to go around the edges of this bookmark with this glue. And then once that dries, I will add my gold leafing. Here we go. And so just going to go around and add that beautiful gold leafing, and then give it a coat of DIY liquid patina over top. And then we will put our little ribbon in. All right, well, that was so much fun. I really enjoyed creating with Connie's paper and just being inspired with my vignette around her beautiful paper. What did you think, babe?
I loved it. I loved all of it. Especially, I liked the big frame picture you did too. That was pretty cool too.
Oh,
but not my favorite.
Okay, well, here's the question. What was your favorite?
My favorite, however, came from one of the new IOD releases. It's this Cloche Mould. And she did it with clear resin, so it looks like it's inside the mold. It's got a really cool sort of this illusion going on with it, and just the gold leafing, again, she nailed it this time with the gold leafing. So great job, babe.
Thank you. You know, I don't know about you guys, I was pretty impressed that he knew all the technical names like the IOD and the Cloche Mould, and man, You pay attention, babe. All right, well, I am so excited to let you guys go so that you can go check my friends out because they have some amazing projects too, and I would love to hear back from you. What was your favorite today? Thank you so much for being with us today. And in case you didn't know, you were made with love.
So go out and change the world. Hey, if you like the content you saw in this video and can't wait for the next one, hit subscribe and share. That way YouTube will push this baby and we will get you more content coming soon. Thank you again, and don't forget to comment and show us what you're doing in the creative world.
And don't forget to head over to my friends' channels and check out their amazing ideas. Thanks for watching.
Happy birthday, Dono!